Hello, friends. Welcome to another podcast. Today is episode number 101. First and foremost, I do apologize for not having a podcast for Tuesday. It was my intention to have a podcast. I already had a great subject in mind, and I was really excited to talk about it. And my wife, about 7:10 my time, I was just about to start the podcast because I had class at 7:30 ready to teach. And she came home and she said, "Hey, I wanted to talk about our son. He was going through some issues, and so we needed to talk about it." And then I had to teach class, and we had an exam, and that didn't get over till 9 o'clock. And I had got up at 4:30 yesterday morning. And that's another topic in itself. But remember, try not to get up before 5 a.m. because you just don't have the same amount of energy that you do when you get up at 5. Like today, I got up at 5. I felt great. I had so much energy. I was on top of the world. And it was an awesome day. And to get so much done, it was great. But getting up at 4:30 just doesn't work. So anyways, last night, the wifey said, we need to talk. So of course I had to talk. But I'm excited to be here today. It's really a great thing. It was a great day today. And today is Wednesday, February 10th. And we are just coming up onto the weekend. So one of the things I wanted to talk about today, and I think it's in retrospect to how we view life, how we view things. And it'll actually kind of push into tomorrow's topic a little bit, which is going to be about COVID fatigue and how to deal with COVID as we hopefully begin to start getting out of these final months. But it's going to really talk about COVID fatigue and how to properly deal with COVID and overall. But today we're going to talk about attitude. Yes, how you view yourself, or more importantly, how people view you within the world. Do they see you as a positive person? Do they see you as a negative person? Do they see you as somebody that is willing to do anything and everything they possibly can to get the job done? Or do they see you as one of those people that sulk and more the woe is me? We all know those people, the ones that are confident, successful, and things just seem to click for them. They are the individuals that seem to always be happy, and they take responsibility for their actions and how they view life. While there's the other version, which is the flip side of that, and it seems like bad things always happen to them. I'm sure you've known those people. I've known those people. I don't know those people so much anymore as I used to. I do see them through social media, and I see that it seems like they just can never quite turn the corner, turn their life around. And I believe a big part of it, is having an attitude that is infectious, that has energy, that can ultimately lead you into bigger and better things. We're going to talk about some steps that will help you if you don't have that attitude you want. That it's not the infectious, go get it, let's get things done, accomplished, and feeling excited about your day. Now, not everybody has a Tony Robbins image, or I should say energy, or image for that matter. Energy is key. Great sleep is key. And being able to think ahead and go, what is my next challenge? What is my next move? If somebody comes up to me right now, am I going to be in a good mood, or am I going to be in a bad mood? And that's where that attitude is. Is it glass half full or glass half empty? If a deadline's coming, is your first thought, oh man, I don't think I can get it done? Or is your first thought, whoa, I'm going to take charge. I'm going to nail this challenge and get this thing out. Part of life and part of life challenges is being able to hit deadlines. For example, everybody knows April 15th is tax day. In most cases, maybe this year's a little different with COVID and along with last year, but everybody knows that procrastination does not work well within the US and tax time. That's why you have to prepare ahead. Again, a lot of individuals where their attitude is poor and they don't get where they want to be, you'll see it's always, I'm not kidding you, it's always somebody else's fault. Now, why can't it be somebody else's fault all the time? Why is that? Well, it's because the attitude is not where it needs to be. They don't understand how to take constructive criticism. They don't have the necessary emotional tools to enable themselves to be able to, have that attitude, have that energy, have that definition of success that they're looking for. Think about the individuals. If you go back to school and you saw individuals that they seemed like they were just out of it, were they tired? Were they just bored? Were did they have other things going on in their life? And think about how successful they were. They were probably not attentive listeners in school. And therefore, when it came exam time, it was obvious that they were not ready for the test. The grades, obviously, you are your own grade. So when the grades come, they find out, oh man, I failed. Well, whose fault is it they failed? Is it the teachers? Well, it can be the teachers sometimes if they didn't prepare the student well enough. But if everybody else did well and a few students didn't, that likely means the lack of preparedness, the lack of attentiveness, and the inability to take self-responsibility. So those are part of an attitude. I mean, think about this. When you're a kid and your parents say, well, you need an attitude adjustment. Well, you're not going to go take a tool and you're not going to start using a wrench, turn to adjust your attitude. It's psychological. It's the way you think. It's the way you have an outlook at things. Now, I always like to share my own views because, again, we only know ourselves better than anybody else and better than anything we know. So as an individual, my attitude has always been, I've got to be positive. I've got to figure out how I can convey myself with energy, excitement, and ultimately be somebody that is viewed as an individual that's positive. Inspirational. I can go back in senior year of football for awards. I won most inspirational team award, which is great because it meant that even though I may not have been the best player by any means, at least I was somebody that rooted the team along, that got excited and showed that passion. And that passion was obviously indicative of who I am and the attitude that I conveyed. So for me, an inspirational leadership award is something that meant a lot to me, even at such a young age. And I think that's always been instinctive to me. Now, of course, I am normal, just like anybody else. I could think of a time back in my early 30s. I was going through my bachelor's program at the time. And I took this job that it paid better than my last job, but it really wasn't what I wanted to do. And I wasn't happy. And I didn't know how to get happy. So what did I do? I decided that the only way I was going to be happy is if I bought something. And then it meant I was working towards something. So at the time, I bought a Sea-Doo. And this is probably back in 2004. And I purchased, or 2003. And I purchased that Sea-Doo because I wanted something to look forward to. I wanted a reason to be excited, to be happy, to have a job that I really didn't like, but at least it paid well. Again, if you don't like a job, keep in mind that you should be pursuing other opportunities, because having a job will help you with your attitude. It will make or break in a lot of cases. So in that case, I was able to find another job that was exactly what I was looking for, and in the industry exactly that I was looking for. At the end, I was happy. But that was a time where attitude wise, I just wasn't feeling it. And that's what I would speak to you about. If you're not feeling it in your job, your attitude, then again, don't bring everybody else down because you're not happy. And that goes back to some of the reasons what's going to make us happy when it comes to attitude. Well, the number one thing about your attitude is try to determine what is not making you happy. Because having a positive attitude comes down to being happy. We all have crud going on in our lives. It could be a family issue, it could be a health issue, it could be a money issue, it could be a personality issue. I mean, we all live our lives with problems. There's not one person out there that doesn't have problems. Even the Jeff Bezos of the world has problems. He has more money than anybody. But at the same time, more money, more problems. It doesn't mean he's happy. He works just as hard, probably making billions, as he did when he was making thousands. Or, he has a lot of people that work under him, but there's still a lot of stress. These type A personalities, they don't just take their bank and take their money and run. They still have a desire to be successful. They have a desire to leave a legacy. And that is part of what makes them happy. So maybe they have a great attitude. Maybe they don't. Maybe they're not happy. Now, it's not to say that everybody that is not happy and that is the reason why their attitude is poor. It could be a lot of things. It could be somebody at work that's bothering them. They may be the happiest person in the world, but then they come to work and they see a particular individual and they may go, oh man, gosh, I was in a good mood. I got to see my significant other this morning. I got to do this. I got to do that. I got to do the things that really matter to me. And then I got to work and geez. Well, if that's the case, it goes back to either removing the problem. So that means look at yourself. Is there a way you can help mitigate this problem to help develop a better attitude? Or maybe if you're a leader or you're the boss, maybe you need to determine how you can remove somebody. But don't let that be the downfall. So as a number one aspect of attitude is determining what the problem is. Why are you not having a good attitude? Why does it seem like you have a great attitude in certain aspects and then all of a sudden these aspects you don't? Well, as Gen Z and millennials, we tend to be, when I say we, I am Gen X, but as listeners and leaders, we have to look at being positive because all the crap that's going on in the world, I've already talked about it in previous episodes how Gen Z and millennials have been dealt a poor hand. Recession, hopelessness in a lot of cases, not being able to buy a home, all the stuff that baby boomers were able to do. They were able to do all the great things, while Gen Z and millennials have not always had the best hand. So that's where attitude comes in. Number two is in the morning, listen to positive messages. Listen to positive podcasts. Listen to Gen Z and Millennial Expert podcast. We're always going to be positive. We're always going to be talking about things that are going to motivate you, get you excited. Listen to music. Listen to relaxing type of soothing things. Don't read all the negative news, all the negativity in the world. It's good to be abreast of the world and educated and knowledgeable and know what's really going on, but don't allow yourself to get burdened by today's problems. So that's number two. Number three is the ability to find satisfaction in what you do. Everybody's job is meaningful. Everybody has a reason to do their job, a reason to succeed. It doesn't matter if you're scrubbing garbage cans, mopping floors, sitting at a desk all day and making widgets, or if you're a CEO, CFO, making big daily decisions. It doesn't matter because every job is important. Every decision is important. Everything we do makes the world run. And when you make the world run, you are a productive citizen. And as a productive citizen, that means you should evaluate what you do and realize that the success that you have, the goals that you accomplish, this is all part of the grand scheme of life. Life is a beautiful thing. With all the problems, with all the stuff that goes on, you have to embrace that life and go, gosh, my life is good. I know that I can do better. I know that I can have continued success. Number 4, you're not there yet. If you're not there yet and you don't know how to make a positive light and you don't know how to have a great attitude, you don't know, you have these barriers. Well, then this is a perfect time to reflect. This is kind of like number 2, but it's not, because maybe you don't have the tools that you need. You don't have the emotional ability to get rid of the crap in your life, and you don't know how to do it. If you don't know how to do it, that's okay. What you need to do is get help. And there is no shame in getting help. Number 4, mental health is the most important thing that we can do in our life to have a positive attitude, to have positive energy, to be able to try not to make those molehills mountains. Molehills don't have to become mountains. If they're molehills, you stomp on them, you crush them, and you get through it. That is number 4. Don't think getting help and having a good mental health is a sign of weakness, because the majority of individuals have help in their life. They have those things they need. They need to find their happy place. So these are the 4 steps that will help you find your happy place, be able to be productive, have the energy that you need, and for people to look at you and go, you know what? You always seem to be in a good mood. You always have a great attitude. You always feel like you're going to be able to conquer something, and you don't ever let anything get in your way. What a beautiful way to live your life. Gen Zs and millennials, we've gone through a lot together. We've done so much as individuals. Both of these cohorts, these groups, these generations have had so much success, had so much schooling, are the most educated out of all of the generations. That includes baby boomers, Gen X, and traditionalists. This means that your attitude will carry you as far as you're willing to let you go. So again, I really thank you for listening. I'm proud to say that we've had listeners from over 20 different countries, plus the United States. So we've had some great listenership. And as always, I appreciate it. So if you haven't had a chance, feel free to go back and listen to some of our previous podcasts. And the best way to get in touch with me is via my email, jason@jwigginsconsulting.com, or via our website, genzandmillennialexpert.com. So if it's in the morning, afternoon, or night, be safe, take care, and we'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.